Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? It is Mo, and it is an AMA. That's what all the kids say. Ask me anything. You can call it Ask Mo Anything. Really, whatever you want it to stand for. Android Monster Annihilation. I don't really care. You can call it whatever you want. But if you do have a question about anything, I'll do my best to answer it. Anything at all. Victoria, a rock girl, what's going on? Alyssa, good morning to you. I got a question on Instagram yesterday from Sta92975. How do I get rid of idiots? All right, so even though this is an AMA, Ask Mo Anything, it doesn't mean I'm going to have all the answers. All right, I promise you, I don't have all of the answers. And this is one of those questions that I can't answer, because I've been trying to figure this out myself for 40 years now of my life. How do I get rid? I don't know. If anybody has a suggestion for me for stuff, then that'd be great. How do you get rid of idiots? Move to an island by yourself? I don't know. And then I'd be the village idiot. That'd be my fault there. So there you go. Dale, good morning to you. Chastity, good morning to you. Michelle, good morning to you. Dan wants to know, is my pop collection feeling more complete now? Yes, of course. Obviously, but never fully complete, though. More complete? Sure. Entirely complete? Never. Now, I am wondering when I'll finally turn the corner and stop collecting those damn adorable things there. But today's not that day. I will tell you that. Greetings to everybody else following and watching. I like to combine words. Pete, good to see you too, sir. How you doing, man? So good morning to everybody following, everybody watching, friends, family, co-workers, enemies, people that are watching this, wondering if I'm going to say something scandalous or not. Probably, actually. So, what was the stat? I think I was just mentioning this to a friend yesterday. Good morning, Laura. That back in Howard Stern's heyday, the average listener would listen for like 15, 20 minutes, give or take. The fan of Howard Stern, the average hater of Howard Stern would listen for 2.5 hours because they want to hear what's next. They want to hear, what is he going to say? What is he going to do that's, going to piss me off even more? Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Alicia. And good to see me smiling. Yeah, for a while there, I wasn't smiling. To coin a pro wrestling term, I lost my smile for a little bit there, but in a better place now. I'm part of GalaxyCon, and GalaxyCon Live. If for anybody not aware, that is a Comic-Con, basically a pop culture event company where over the course of the pandemic, they had to find a new means of making money, much like so many others had to find different ways of surviving, staying in business. So they started doing a lot of these virtual panels, a lot of these live streams where obviously I'm doing this conversation here, but I'm not a celebrity, not like, we had the cast of The Boys this past weekend. We have Julie Benson from The Little Mermaid next weekend, where people can pay for the chance to do one-on-one conversations, which is really cool. We call it GalaxyCon Live. That's what I help oversee. I'm a talent coordinator for them, so I help actually work with the celebs to get them in, do some tech checks on them, and so that's what I do on a week-to-week basis. And one day, maybe I'll host. But right now, that's not the priority. Right now, it's just to help them keep that momentum going as the world opens back up. And GalaxyCon will be doing live pop culture Comic-Cons again, starting in July in Raleigh, North Carolina. Not a huge tour, but maybe that changes in time. Maybe it expands. I don't know. But that's what I'm doing now. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Keith. And John wants to know, will the massive undertaking of packing all your collectibles factor into your decision to move? I know it would mine if I had that much stuff. Moving is a bitch, my friend. With all of this stuff, it is a pain in the ass. When the radio station dropped off all of my belongings that I was not allowed to pack myself, just from my office alone, that was like 6 total boxes of stuff right there, 2 being huge moving boxes. So it's an undertaking. It is absolutely a pain in the ass. But will it factor into moving? No, not really. I'm not one that gets rid of everything and then moves, because this is my life. This is what I've collected and brought together. So it's possible that I may move. Will I move to a different spot in town? Maybe. Maybe something that doesn't have above and below listening there. Keith follows up by saying, amen to that. Moving no matter the distance. Pain in the ass indeed. True that. Jennifer, good morning. So we'll see. I got options. The new company I work for, I'm allowed to work remotely, which is really cool. Something I've never really done before. So it is odd waking up and not having to, get in a car and go somewhere or anything. So it's life adjustments. I don't have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning anymore. So there's a lot of things that are changing for me. But they're based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Maybe I head down that way. I know a lot of people around Orlando. Maybe I head that way. Maybe I move to my dream city of Vegas. A very wise former GM that I worked for years ago at a different radio station, Clint Marsh is the guy's name, says, don't vacation where you love, live where you love. And I love Vegas. That's my happy city. It really is. I don't drink. I'm not a huge gambler, but I just like the energy, the optimism, the I don't know, the hope that's there, at least at the beginning of most people's trips. I don't know. So maybe I head that way finally. I don't know. I got a lot of things to think about here moving forward, but that's what's going on. Keith winning the comment war so far. My wife said the same thing if she worked from home a few months ago. Misses it actually. Oh, I could see this being addicting. Oh, I could. Truth be told, I'm not wearing pants right now. And so, I mean, that's a great thing right there. Clearly, if he's a wise GM, he didn't work for Ed. He was one of the few GMs that I truly, truly loved and respected in this industry. Clint really was. AC and the Country Music Show Massacres too soon. Ouch. Ouch, buddy. Oh, man, you were brutal. Here, I thought I was going to be the brutal one today. But AC, he beat me to that one there. Elizabeth figured as much with no pants. I mean, why would I? If I don't have to. Now, if I am going to be doing a call with like a celebrity for my new job, I at least wear like gym shorts or something. So just in case I have to get up and get something for some reason, I don't want to be that guy. So I do that. Coincidence, Dan's also not wearing pants either. Or not wearing my pants either. Are you sure? I am missing a pair. Actually, I'm not missing a pair, but that's good right there. So again, this being an AMA, if anybody wants to ask a certain question, I'm more than happy to answer questions because for Stacy's not surprised. I hate pants. I hate leg prisons. All right. I mean, this is not a surprise to anybody. Not at all. Gym shorts are safe in case you forget to turn the camera off. The camera's always on, my friend. Always on. You know what we want. No, I think somebody's gonna have to spell it out for me. What do you want? What we want? I don't know. For the month of May, I wasn't allowed to talk about a certain something per an agreement, but now that it's June, now I can probably talk about really whatever's on your mind, whatever that may be. John loves giving me crap. Having all that extra time from not driving to work opens some quality time to visit a tanning booth? ? Apparently not. No, I use that to sleep a little bit more or enjoy breakfast from home. Pale pot shot. All right, I see how it's going to be. Okay, so spill the tea. All right. Spill. WTF happened. And then Michelle, why are you not with a specific radio station any longer? Okay, is that what you guys want to know? Is that why you want to know why I'm not with QLZ anymore? All right. Why did the asshats in a certain media outlet choose to no longer employ you? Okay, so I guess you guys are curious about that, aren't you? Huh. All right, well, this could be a long story, maybe not. I guess it depends on all of the follow-up, all the questions you may have. Why that QLZ went to shit after you left. I have not tuned in a single moment. I'm not saying you shouldn't, though, because there are some really good people there. Lars in the afternoon is such an amazing guy. On the air, he's hilarious, but as a person, he is one of the best you'll ever meet. So don't stop supporting it because there are good people. There really are good people there. But then there's also the flip side of things, the people that will Judas you and like start stabbing you. But that happens. That happens. So I will say, just under a month ago, I was canned. I was fired. Now go ahead, ask me the reason. Oh wait, I wasn't given one. Yeah, I wasn't given one. So let me rewind again. This is where storytelling comes in a little bit. Since last December, I had started working on a database for QLZ. Alicia, thank you. I appreciate that, saying that I was the best there. Seriously, thank you. The listener, I love the listeners. I love you guys so much. You guys have been amazing to me. Stacy saying she's unfollowed them. No reason to support them. Thank you. But again, there are good people there. There really are. But so back in December, I started programming, knowing that we had a couple months free. So QLZ and Springfield in general, the radio stations that Midwest has, started working with our cluster in Rockford and then also DeKalb. So you kind of had the same management overseeing all of the different clusters to kind of streamline the process, pay down some bills from what I understand, and, see if that helps the system, because the pandemic hit and we were losing money as radio stations. So that, you got to find a way to consolidate and make things work the best as possible. So I was running QLZ as the program manager or program director, brand manager, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to use the name God of QLZ or King of QLZ, but that never made it to a business card. But anyway, I worked with a guy in Rockford, their brand manager for their rock station, which I also did afternoons on 10 until 2. And so he was kind of the music director. He would work with the new music and the different record labels for the most part to make this stuff happen. But internally, knowing that I had 3-4 weeks of downtime in December, I'm like, you know what? I've always wanted to try something in radio, and that is where radio people will say, expand the playlist. I was expanding artist separation, which without going to geek for you, expanding artist separation, at least when I left, again, I have not listened since I left, so I don't know if things have changed. But as of the moment I left, artist separation was 90 minutes. So you could hear, and I always use these guys as an example, Def Leppard can play every 90 minutes. Reason being is, and the mentality that radio's had for decades now, is that when you're in the car, you want to hear the hits. You want to hear the favorites, and that's it. You go too deep, you go too new. People typically don't want to hear that. Right or wrong, that's the mentality that they have been using since at least the 90s. Which is really early 2000s and 90s, the last time radio was a profitable industry. There's always pockets. There's always exceptions that make money, yes. But as an industry, it has been decades since the industry has thrived. People say radio's dying. I don't think it'll ever die as long as it's free. But it's not going to thrive ever again with the current mentality. So I took it upon myself, knowing the rock radio, the rock format, which is odd. We still need radio as a source of news and entertainment for now. And we can get to that. Morning radio sure isn't the same. Thank you. So knowing the rock radio format, I know that there's a lot of hits that aren't being played on radio nationally, worldwide. It's not even just a local thing, but just radio in general has this, you got to play the hits all the time. And that was a great mentality back in the day. But now, as Stacy points out, She said, source of news and entertainment. That's changing. Radio used to be the only place you could get your weather reports. That's the only place, unless you wanted to watch TV and wait for it. But now you got the Weather Channel. Now you have stuff on your phone. My phone's charging. But you can pull up any of this information on demand. Same thing with the music. Radio keeps dropping every year of being the new music discovery for people my age or younger. Now, like TikTok is the number one place for people to discover new music, or at least a young demographic. They don't go to the radio to discover new music. And so as we were trying to expand the radio station into a media, company, what can we do to change and adapt and evolve over time? I fought a lot for the music, that things have to change. Like, I love Spotify. Spotify, even if you do the free version, you can listen to a playlist. You have maybe 2 minutes of commercials tops, and then you're right back to the music. So I wanted to change things up a little bit. And I love that what Eric is saying here, because it's so, your timing is so perfect. He said the whole Error Code 977 weekend was one of the greatest radio he's ever heard. I listened more then for a random deep cut than I ever have, because I knew what I was going to get. Memorial Day weekend, just not too long ago, the radio station was supposed to have our next Error Code weekend. That's what I had pitched, but after I left, my ideas were gone. Seems the media outlets like to get rid of good on-air talent or syndicated shows such as Ray Lytle, Wes Styles, Free Beer, Hot Wings, etc. It's the nature of the biz, I guess. I know I could be included in that list of morning shows that have been cut. It is what it is. Hopefully some of these shows, I know, for instance, have moved on to bigger, better things. So that's all right. Keith says morning radio, or radio in general, needed to evolve, and you wanted to see and make things happen. They weren't ready for that. And what's funny is I've been arguing for this, for artist separation, for 20 years. Actually, that's the reason I left radio the first time, because I was so disgusted by all the politics and how the lack of being able to move forward in an industry desperate to move forward, not understanding. Like, radio's always playing catch up. Even if they're happy with what they've done, they've always played catch up. The big push that we had locally was more content, more blogs. Okay, what else? But that seemed to be the focus. That still seems to be the focus. And if that's what they want to do, fine. I was blogging from my first on-air radio job at an internet radio station in 2001. 2001, I was doing additional content off air, going on site and doing CD reviews. And I wasn't a CD reviewer, but I was trying to give extra content, time on site. It was 2001. But here in 2021, that's what's going to save radio? 20 years later. So I'm still fighting. If you want to be a media company, let's go ahead and expand all forms of media. So my mentality was, instead of having 2 minutes time spent listening, let's be that rock station that you can listen to all day, knowing that you're not going to hear the same artists every 90 minutes. And there's nothing wrong with the hits. This is not a shot at Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Def Leppard, Motley Crue. I love all of those bands. I love all of those songs. Okay, I don't love Def Leppard, but I love all of the bands. Like, Smells Like Teen Spirit is such an iconic song, but I don't want to hear it every day anymore. I've been listening to Smells Like Teen Spirit. Literally, this September will be 30 years. I've heard it every day if I listen to the radio for 30 years. And it's a good song, but you don't need to hear it every day, or at least as often every day. And that's my mentality. So last December, I started expanding the playlist and expanding the artist separation. And by the time March rolled around, I got to a 3-hour artist separation. So you could take the QLZ app. You could you could listen to us streaming on your computer and actually listen longer, because you're not going to hear Def Leppard 5 or 6 times during your workday. And again, I keep picking on Def Leppard, but you could pick so many other artists there. And I just felt that is grossly out of touch. Grossly out of touch. And I fought for this. And the station was doing well, to my knowledge. If it wasn't, not a single person talked to me about this. My sales manager never talked to me about this. The operations manager never talked to me about this, or anybody above them never talked to me. So if my station for 6 months was not doing well, somebody's not doing their job to telling me I'm not doing my job. So I started making these changes, and they were working out. If you listened anywhere between really January and the beginning of May, you probably heard a little bit of life, right? I mean, a little bit. So you'd still hear the classics. Maybe you would hear Smells Like Teen Spirit, but then maybe you actually get to hear a Limp Bizkit song. And then you get to follow that up with Mudvayne. And then you follow that back up with whatever. Right now, or at least as I left the station, Mudvayne, who is reunited after 11 years gone. If you're not a rocker, you may not know the name Mudvayne, but if you are a rocker, you know that's a big deal. When I left the station, again, things could have changed in the last month. Mudvayne wasn't in the system. No. I'm not saying that's not being played. It's not even in the system to be played. Not a single. Not Falling, Happy, Dig, Death Blooms, nothing. None of the Mudvayne tracks are in the system to even be played. And that was the hottest topic in the rock world for months. Not a single one. I had a problem with that. Apparently nobody else did. So, moving on, AC, here's there basically saying, Mo, I've worked with Mo in radio's progressive ideas have always clashed with the uncreative morons and their radio back in my day categories. Don't get me started on that. Blah, blah, blah. He's always been an innovator. Thank you, AC. Appreciate that. Dale says Springfield loves morning radio. I found that out. Jason says first red flag is when they put QLZ 97.7 from 92.7. Signal is way weaker, kind of like setting up you guys to fail. To an extent, I wasn't there for the switch, but politics was a part of that. Again, I can't comment too much on it. I wasn't there, but politics and just trying to maneuver and outshake everybody else. You keep artist separation, but I still feel like I was hearing Foo Fighters literally every hour. Maybe it feels like that. If there's a band you don't like, I think it's always going to feel like that. And again, it wasn't instant. It wasn't like in December, it was 3 hours. It had to be a little by little progression because the systems we use, you don't want to confuse the systems. It's even more work for you. So I think, if you listen that last stretch of April, you really got to hear an artist separation that you didn't hear in January because, again, little by little sort of thing here. Variety is a true spice of life. I agree with that. Steven, been doing home renovations for the last week, and it seemed that the same songs were on an hour loop throughout the day, each song being heavily rooted in the late 90s. I've never listened to the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones so much in a week. Ah, yes, the 90s. I laugh because that was a part of the argument that may or may not have gotten me terminated. Again, I was given no reason. But I know the story leading up to it. So anyway, as many of you are probably aware, I had announced not too long before my firing, that I was going to be joining WMAY as a talk show host. I was going to continue doing the Third String Morning Show, and then I would take a little break, and then I would go on the air for MAY and host a talk show, a lifestyle pop culture talk show. We had announced that. Now, with the arrangement being that come July, when I would start the new show, I would give up the brand manager responsibilities for somebody else. At that time, not knowing if it'd be in-house or bringing somebody new in, I didn't know. And I was reluctant because I made a lot of progress in that time. And I was having a lot of fun. I had a good rapport with the team and the staff, at least I thought. And so I made that announcement. I went, ask any of the friends, ask the family. I went back and forth on this decision because I was really proud of what I had built with QLZ. But being a talk show host is something I'd never done before. Officially. I mean, I've done podcasts, of course, live streams like this. Jason, he gets bothered when he hears 2,000 songs in the 90s hour. Well, that's what happens when you play all your 90s category during the rest of the day. Elizabeth loves my face when I said no reason was given, so deep in thought. So I was torn with the decision. I didn't know what I was going to do. But eventually I'm like, all right, let's do this. It's a new challenge. I've never done it before. And if I'm still on QLZ, I was assured that I would still have an influence on things. So I was going to continue doing what I was doing. I was supposed to be a part of the process in picking, not really picking, but at least meeting with the finalists for the position and see if there would be a good chemistry. 3 days later, after I made this announcement, we flipped systems. After 2 years of waiting for a new system, literally, it had been 2 years since we were told we're getting new systems. So this way we can share a database with Rockford, so there's not all this double work. So if we're adding the new song by Chevelle, we don't have to, each cluster doesn't have to add it. One person can do it. Everybody has access to it. Okay, 2 years. 2 years. So that 3 days after my announcement, we finally move over. And then 4 days after my announcement, I'm told by Boy Scout, I'm protecting his name, I'm told by Boy Scout that I'm not allowed to touch the music. I'm not allowed to do anything with it. Even though I, in May, still had 2 months, month and a half, to run QLZ. But 4 days later, 3 days, plans changed. It wasn't my decision. And I was frustrated because I had done so much work, and like that, it was gone. And the only person that felt bad about it was me. No remorse from anybody around me. I mean, anybody with influence. My Boy Scout, my direct superior, who, for the sake of this conversation, will be Agnes. His direct superior, Barstool. No remorse. I don't care. You know, you just worked for 6-7 months on a project that you were passionate about. Fuck that. That was the mentality. And then I was told, don't fight on it. This isn't the hill to die on. I'm like, I've been fighting this fight for 20 years. And I was finally seeing it come to life. And you take it away. It bothered me. No remorse, no repent. I do care what it meant. Can I just say this? Fuck Boy Scout. Sorry, not sorry. So I was frustrated, and Boy Scout said, well, if you're really that bothered, go ahead and reach out to Agnes and, talk it out. I'm like, you know what? I'm really mad today. I'm going to give myself the weekend. So this was on a Friday. So I give myself the weekend. I come in Monday. I'm still bothered. I'm still bothered by it. Kind of angry, to be honest with you. Because I've been working a lot during the course of the pandemic, where a lot of people were upset and angry, scared because they lost work during the pandemic. I'm working even more. I'm a one-man radio station because we're so stretched thin. Everybody there is just trying to do so much just to keep the stations afloat during all of this. So I was already burnt out, God, for a while now. And here I am being told that any influence I had on the station was already being taken away long before the deal was officially done. I was supposed to start handing things over. Not, here you go, 3 days later. What's up, girl? So anyway, so I have a talk with Agnes that Tuesday morning via Zoom. And I'm asking, what's going on? What's going on with the playlist? And, we were supposed to, wait until somebody new came in. And if that somebody new that was hired wants to wipe out all of my work, okay, but I've already had that chance to have that discussion with the person, to be on the same page with the person. I was told my playlist wasn't good. After also Agnes admitted that he is not a rocker, he then proceeded to eventually tell me my playlist wasn't good. And if this was a top 40 playlist, a country music playlist, any other format, maybe you're right. I can't speak for those other formats. I can speak for rock music, though, because I don't just work rock music. Rock music is my life. Rock music is my goddamn life. I've always lived and breathed it. It's how I relax and how I hype myself up. Rock music is me. I am rock music. There's a connection there, and there always has been. And so I know trends. I've seen trends. I know what's popular and what's not. Like, I remember this stuff, and I've lived all around to really be able to know, hey, this song does hit. This song was great here. Like, I've lived enough different, dare I say, cultures, at least backgrounds, to see that these work. Rock will work like this. They didn't want to hear that. So basically, I was disrespected by my boss. And I may have handled it a little bit poorly. And I've apologized for that. I have an email apologizing to Barstool for this. So that Tuesday, I'm furious because I'm told all of my work was crap, basically. So I decided I was going to take a mental health day on Wednesday. I needed that break. I just could not go into work and be furious. So I needed a mental health day. Tuesday night, when I'm in bed, Boy Scout calls to check how I'm doing. Fine. I appreciate that. Some people think Boy Scout knew what he was doing and knew I wouldn't answer. So this way he could say, well, I tried. Others think that maybe it was legit. Either way, I was in bed. I didn't pick up the phone, nor did I want to start thinking about work when I'm in bed. So I take Wednesday off, and I still got to actually do a little bit of work. I still got to, I got to do a little bit of work because, you know, we're all stretched thin. So I reach out to Lars, say, hey, this is what's going on. And then apparently that causes drama. I won't get into that, but, you know, I know that one day, a mental health day, is not enough. And I don't know if I should take off more or not. Boy Scout texts me, says, hey, rock music is my goddamn life. Thank you, Blaine. I appreciate that. Damn the man, even though his name is Agnes. Well, you know, Agatha all along. So I didn't want to go back. I knew I needed more time off, but I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be held against me if I did. If I took more mental health day. Boy Scout texted saying, if you want to take more time, let me know. I point that out because the wording is very important here, because I was not ordered to take more time off. It was my choice. And did I make the wrong choice by going back on Thursday? Yes, I did. I admit that. And I have apologized for that. Thursday, I'm pretty miserable. Friday was the day. Friday was the day that I sealed my fate. I'm very angry that I have to come in, and I'm hosting a show with this horribly condensed playlist, which is just a radio playlist. This is not a shot towards the individual programming the music out of Rockford. I actually have nothing against this guy. As much as he may think I dislike him, I don't. He's doing what he's always been taught to do, and that's fine. But that's not why I do what I do. So here I am. I have this stretch. And thank you. I wondered if somebody's going to say that. The shirt is quite fitting for this discussion. Just want to say I'm sorry for the way you were treated. You were a breath of fresh air from previous morning shows. You were more open and aware of feelings. And it was nice not having to completely hear sexist content in the morning with previous morning shows. Appreciate it. Thank you, Cassie. I do appreciate that anyway. Friday rolls around, and I get a stretch of music that bothered me. And I took my frustrations to Twitter. And wouldn't you know, I have it ready to go, because I want to point out, at the time I took the screenshot, 8 likes. I am not a Twitter powerhouse. I am not a Twitter influencer. I do not have this huge pull in the Twitterverse. But this stretch in my 8 a.m. hour really bothered me, because my format, my playlist did not capture the 90s well enough. Didn't own the 90s. And I was told that the competitor owned the 90s better than me, which is BS. Unless you want to hear Alice in Chains every 90 minutes, then you're right. Then I didn't own the 90s. But I was really bothered by the actual stretch, as you can read. 88, 2016, 88, 87, 2012. That's how you own the 90s. So glad my playlist was deemed. So I was still an employee when this tweet was made, by the way. That may or may not come into play in conversation later here in this live stream, but that got some attention, including the gentleman who's doing the programming out of Rockford. He didn't like that. That's how he had to discover that stretch of music, saying, hey, I hate discovering like this. If you ever see that again, let me know. And maybe I should have. But again, I was pissed off, and I should have been taking a mental health day, but felt pressured into going into work, or it'd be held against me. I continually point that out because I was rough on Friday. I was told not to work that night's event, which is good because there had been no communication prior if I was going to work that Summer Thunder Tour event that night. No discussion at all. There was just an assumption by those around me that I was going to work it. And it's just, that's fine. Who needs to talk in the industry of communication? So I was in a rough spot on Friday, but I was going to take the weekend, cool off, try to collect my thoughts, unplug, and just try to really focus on me again. Monday morning rolls in. Oh, okay. Let me rewind. Very important part here. So the gentleman that found my tweet that was upset, the guy programming in Rockford, I texted him saying, hey, I'm sorry. This is not a shot at you. I go, but I'm very frustrated with our management, and I'm not sure I want to work for, or I'm not sure how much longer or if I want to work for this company. Something like that. I had started thinking about, okay, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Because this is not going to fly for me. It's just not where I want to be. I'm not happy. And if I'm miserable, I'm going to make them miserable, so on and so forth. All right. So again, that was Friday. On Monday, I do my show. And then secret be told, I wasn't live 10 to 2 on the X in Rockford. It was pre-recorded. Much like most of radio, believe it or not, is not live and local. Maybe local if you're lucky. It's not live. It's pre-recorded. And that's an industry thing. So I was done around 10:30, and then I was going to start moving on to all my off-air stuff. And that's when Barstool comes in and says, I need to meet you in I need your company or your time in the business manager's office, where the only time you meet in that office is when you're either talking payroll or you're getting fired. I knew what was up. There had been a lot of weird occurrences that morning. With the playlist was incorrect, and not just incorrect, but just certain things weren't lined up properly because it wasn't set up for a live show. Emails that go out that are normally very wordy and inspirational were all of a sudden very plain and to the point. There was just a lot of little things going on. So I was fired, with Barstool saying that if you don't want to work here anymore, I'm going to make it easy for you. And that was my termination. And the agreement is if I didn't go on and make the company look bad online or any of the employees throughout the course of May, they would continue to pay me. And then they would also not fight unemployment, which is good. Because as I've pointed out recently, that I feel like I was punished. I took a mental health day and not a single one of the leaders in the company reached out to me to see how I was doing. The one did before my mental health day, but after that, nope. I mean, I interacted with some of them and I could tell they were hesitant to talk to me, but they never asked. None of my managers, none of the fellow leaders in my building, not a single one asked how I was doing. I should also point out, I was never written up. I was never given a warning of my behavior, of my actions. And I didn't have to sign anything on the way out, acknowledging that. And so I was fired for cause. That was made clear to me after the fact. But I was never given a reason, which is funny because after that, I've heard reasons internally and externally from the radio station why I was fired. And I wasn't going to open up about this originally. I've gone back and forth about, should I be honest about this? Should I not? But then I started hearing my name disrespected. I've had clients reach out to me and say, this is what is being told to us about you and why you're gone. That I was this huge troublemaker somehow. A guy who has bled and sweat and has done so much for that company. And no, the machine lives on without me. I know I'm not important enough to that company. So that's not a thing. But for all I've done to then be blamed for so much after the fact. Now, is it true? Again, this is all just hearsay. This is rumors. This is stuff. Trust me, no one will reach out now that you've been fired. The only person that reached out to me was you. And that's sad. That's sad. Ray has obviously, my run here it was a good run for me. And many of you have been great to me in this time for the 4 years that I was on the air. But he has a legacy here. Like, his stuff is legacy. And the way that he's been treated at times has been ridiculous. I love you too, Ray. Marla says, very sad. Dale asks, wrongful termination. Maybe. Maybe not. That's, right there. Cassie says, I also appreciate your outspokenness about mental health. If you want to read the rest, I'll let you do so. I'm glad that somebody pointed that out. And if somebody else did and I haven't showed your message, I apologize. I've been kind of open about the mental health, haven't I? Like that I struggle with depression and anxiety. This is not new information to anyone, right? If this is new, seriously, and not sarcastically, seriously, let me know if this is new. Because I've done a lot of the out of the darkness stuff over time. So me suffering from a mental health condition is common knowledge. I've not hidden that. But yet after a mental health day, nobody checks in. Nobody cares. I get fired not long after a mental health day. I heard the rumor I was supposed to get fired on Friday after that tweet was sent out. The tweet that got 8 likes. I was supposed to get fired on Friday. And then I don't know if this gentleman was told to sleep on it, wait it out, give me a warning. I don't know. But Monday rolled around and I was gone anyway, after not posting anything over the weekend. So sad that they disregard the talent of a genuine person, understands their audience. Only person they've enjoyed in the last 20 years. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sad you can't vent without someone tattling or thinking everything is about them. Happens often everywhere. Yeah. It is very sad. It is very sad. And I'm sure there's people, and I apologize to them if there are people in-house that have to take some sort of reaction to this when they had nothing to do with any of this. But there'll be assumptions because communication there sucks. So there's going to be assumptions that, okay, this person did that. Oh, Mo only knows that because you might be surprised. But I know morale's there really low and nobody's there to give a damn. And that's what's really sad. I hope you don't regret the meme post because it was spot on. No, I don't. I fought for 20 years. And had I been respected more before they shit canned all of my work, the 6 and 7 months of progress I made, maybe I would have been more respectful, but they didn't respect me. 3 days after the announcement, they couldn't even wait 2 months to then shit can all of my work. As the agreement had been, they waited 3 days to shit can all of my work. So even if I had a talk show, who's to say I would have retained creative control moving forward? Because it was supposed to be non-political. There's a guy who's very right-leaning in the morning, and a guy in the afternoon is very left-leaning. You already have those fan bases with their respective, conversations and opinions. So my 10 to noon was supposed to be lifestyle and pop culture, the stuff, the cleanser between the two political divides. And that was approved. But if other agreements were done after 3-4 days, who's to say they're not going to force me to talk about shit I don't want to talk about on my own show, even though I was supposed to have a creative control? Now, again, I can't say it was going to happen or not. Marla says she can't see my shirt. I'm not a robot. Carl was a fan when we worked together. Great to board for. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. What else we got here? I remember that post. It was shocking. Can't own the 90s if you don't play the 90s. That is very true. What else we got here? Too many are concerned with their wallets instead of content of a community that gets it. Jeff still misses me in Warsaw. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Dale says he's been a listener of QLZ for 25 years, and I'm in WoW. Marlo loves my openness about mental health awareness. So I have mentioned it before then, right? Yeah. Ray, thank you. Says, I'm a star, move into a gig where you excel. Again, I'm pretty lucky right now. I'm at GalaxyCon Live, helping with their live chats and everything. And it's a good team to be a part of. A team that wants to move forward. It's actually kind of a stressful job at times. But what job isn't, right? And but the people there all want to move forward. And they care about the fans. They care about the people. And that's something I haven't gotten from my former industry in general. Maybe ever. And it's been a long time, at the very least, if that's not the case. There was three of us that kind of, I don't want to say ran the show before the corporate stuff came in. One person, Boy Scout, was very, what can we do digitally? What can we do to get more clicks, more time on site? The digital side. And then we had another guy, I'm going to call him Citizen V. He was all about the sales. How can we make money off of this? I was the guy saying, what can we do for the listeners? Like these other two would propose ideas like, oh, let's do this. Okay, it's fine. But what's in it for the listener? Well, they can win this. Okay, but what's more than that? Like, there's got to be a connection with the audience there. Valentine Smash, I got very little help on that the first year, and probably about the same the second year. Second year easier because of pandemic, we shortened things up a little bit. Valentine Smash, that 97 winners, it was about excitement. It was about once you get number one, okay. Number two, okay. Number 95, oh crap, we're running out. Number 96, oh crap, we're running out. I need to get a ticket. I need to be able to secure a prize. And you get that excitement, you get that buzz. I don't know if anybody else got that. If they did, they weren't as passionate about it as I was. And that's fine. I get that. I know I'm difficult, by the way. I know I'm not easy to work with. I know this. But don't mistake my passion for being a pain in the ass. Because if I want the betterment for the station, the betterment for my job, the betterment for you, the fan, the listener, the follower, the viewer, you hold that against me, I'm going to be pissed off. Because this is what it should be about. I can go anywhere and make a company money, but I choose a radio station because I want to entertain the audience. I want you to be happy. I want you to be able to live your life. There was all these ideas for contests where you submit the content. During the pandemic, where people are struggling, where there's a lot of people depressed and people are suicidal, people desperate for work, opportunity to pay their bills, whatever the case may be. But because it was easier for us on our end, you go ahead and submit your content to us rather than what I argued. Can we do something to excite the people? Can we offer them something? Because they're struggling. We're lucky to work. We can do something to help them, to help the listeners. They're like, well, you could do it on your station, but we're all going to do this stuff here. You know, it was just frustrating. I felt like, I know I wasn't, but I felt like I was the only one fighting for you, for the listeners, for the followers, the mofos, the mo followers. Just because, especially during the pandemic, and that's why I kept doing what I was doing. I was so burnt out, but I was trying. I'm not the smartest morning show guy. I'm not the funniest morning show guy. I don't have the best bits. But you know what? I think the reason I connected with so many of you is because you knew I was trying, and you knew I was there for you. And it's the pandemic. People are struggling. And the least I can do is add that smile to your day while you look for work, or if you're an essential worker, if I can add a smile to your day so your day is a little bit better as you do an important job rather than what I do, then it was worth it. I don't think others agree with me on that mentality. I'm done listening to that station. Again, there are some good people there. It's easy for me to bitch and moan about those who I had disagreements with or disagreed with me. But there are good people there, on air and off air. So I'm not going to tell anybody not to listen because, frankly, when I've listened to radio in my life, there hasn't been a lot of people that I've truly enjoyed listening to. It's just like, it's a gig. It's a pre-recorded gig. They read liner cards, or they're stuck in the past, or they host a show that's decades old, and the idea is just we can't do that anymore, or it's just not funny anymore. So, but with that said, I love listening to Lars, and I don't just say that because I'm his friend or he's my friend. He's legitimately funny, so quick-witted, so funny. Mike and Molson, the former show, I think it's every Friday, at least for now, on MAY. Brilliant show. And that's just locally. There are other people I've enjoyed over the years, but there are good people. So don't not listen because of me. If you're not going to listen, do it for your own, reasons. And if I'm involved, fine. But I don't want to tell you not to listen. But just be aware of what's going on. And this is what happened. This is all my thoughts, by the way. This is all my take. I'm sure if you listen to the other side, there's a completely different mentality, completely different reasons, maybe completely different stories. And then maybe the truth somewhere in the middle. But this is my take. This is my approach to all of this, how I remember it all going down. Fair enough. Yes, Lars is great, but still. Marla would listen to me every morning on the way to work. Essential worker with a little time off. I look forward to my mornings with you. Dale says I'm absolutely right. Thank you. Jason says, seen you in Walmart and you stopped by, shake my hand. So you're cool in my book. Chastity says I did great. I don't ever forget that. Thank you. I appreciate this, guys. And it sucks. I don't miss the off-air stuff because things had gotten pretty bad there. And maybe I did it to myself. The on-air stuff, though, I'll cherish. I did not want to return to radio years ago, but I was desperate for work. So I bit the bullet and I applied for radio and ended up getting this gig. Rock station morning show. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. And you, the Central Illinois audience, were very good to me. You were so good to me. And you probably think I'm just saying, no, I'm not sucking up to you. You helped me. I wouldn't say love radio. I think that's the impossible thing. But you helped me enjoy being on the air on radio again. The live interactions. And there was a reason I did everything on social, because again, I was trying to move forward. The phone call thing is fine for certain formats, but I was looking at the national rock stuff and people wanted more music in the mornings and they didn't care about the phone calls. And I'm like, here's these studies. People around me didn't want to hear these studies because they had their own studies that said, you need more phone calls and more. It is what it is. It is what it is. Barb, thank you. She misses me. Keep your head up. Be proud of what you've done. Kelly says, I've known you since your Wizard World days. I was your volunteer for panels. You asked me more than once, is the audience having fun and engaged? You're very fan oriented. Thank you for normalizing mental health. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. Again, you guys are so good to me. So my leaving QLZ, by choice or not, was nothing to do with you. It really wasn't. The parents have split. It's not the child's fault. I mean, it may be AC's fault because he causes trouble, but otherwise, I'm kidding. So that's my story. That's my story there. If you have any other questions, I'll wrap this up in a few minutes here. No more long stories after that. But that's what's going on. And that's why I'm no longer there. Stacy, thank you. She listened to me back in the Mix 1027 days back in Ohio. Always cared for the audience. Patrick, thank you. You've made so many people happy, find their voice, speak out about mental illness. John, loving to troll me. When can we expect to see was Paul Heyman part 2 in a wrestling ring on TV? you prefer to work with WWE or AEW? Hell, anybody wants to give me a job in pro wrestling, I'm there. It doesn't matter the company. I'd probably have to say WWE now, only because my podcast co-host Devon works there, so it'd be cool to work with him. But Dale's got to go. I'm gone in a few minutes too, Dale. It's fun, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much in there, Scott. I am hanging in there. Thank you for supporting. Good hell. Just tuned in. You missed quite the tale. You missed quite the story. This will be available on demand momentarily after I wrap up. I know it's not the same as the live interaction, but it is there available on demand. And I have no doubt I'm going to hear about it later, both the good and the bad side of hearing about it. But I felt like people should know. So people don't take it out on me. I also felt disrespected because I'm hearing my name dragged through the mud when the agreement was I wasn't supposed to drag theirs. Maybe I should have said, hey, don't disrespect mine too. But the justification of why I'm gone to others, I just find odd because nobody communicated with me while I'm gone. And maybe that'll change. Maybe I'll get an email or a text or a call here that changes that. But it's kind of late now. At this point, I'm moving on. So this is it. Like, this is my grand hurrah. This is it. At this point, I don't plan on looking back anymore. I'm just going to move forward. And if you move forward still listening to QLZ or the stations, cool. If you move forward and you don't, cool. That's completely on you. But I'm done looking back now. So now it's only forward momentum. And I welcome you to join me in this forward progress. So thank you so much for putting up with me. Thank you for following me, streaming me, whatever the case is. Thank you. And don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out anytime, my friend. Have a good week.